Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a video. I have done this before where I show all the palettes in my collection that I haven't used. It's a pretty big number. I have a problem. It's a combination of having too many palettes and not wearing makeup that much, so it's kind of a thing. But yeah, if that sounds interesting, definitely stick around. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and we're gonna jump into the video. I do want to do a little disclaimer. I'm not trying to be braggy or like, look at how much makeup I have. I am aware that I have more than the average person. Nobody should have this much. I do film videos occasionally, so I have more, I think, because of that. And I like makeup. Eyeshadow palettes are my favorite. And also it's just kind of a way to call myself out. Now, I have tried to do this thing where I'm like, I'm not going to buy any more until I use all of my palettes, and that just has never happened. There's so much limited edition makeup that comes out. You like feel the urge to get something because it's going to be gone, and then it just kind of snowballs from there. It's going to be a little bit tricky to film because I have some stuff in drawers and I have stuff on a cart, so I'm going to try and do it in sections. But yeah, so we're going to jump in. First off, we're going to start off with what's kind of over here. I can kind of show you guys. So right up here are my expensive, like more pricier palettes. So we're going to start there. I have a couple up there that have never been used, so we'll start there. It's going to be Natasha Denona and one from Storybook Cosmetics. So we'll do the Natasha Denona palettes first because they're in front. This one came in a boxy luxe. This is the Zendo palette. So this is relatively new. I got this a couple months ago. I just haven't had a chance to use it, but I'm excited. This is my first mini one. The other larger are like the larger ones, like the full-size palettes. I've used them, but I have 3 minis, and these all came in BoxyCharms. I have the Ayana palette, and Cupid has never been used. I think these were like BoxyCharm exclusives. I don't know. I have one more, but I have actually used this one, Peak. I've used that one once. But these two, and then the did I say Zendo? Yeah, that's what it is. They just haven't been used. I pulled all these mini ones out. I used to have them in a drawer. I figured maybe if I put them up on top, I would be more inclined to use them. I'm not gonna hold my breath on that. And then if I can get the other one out, my storage is kind of weird, so it's just too much of a hassle to like pull a whole pile up. But I have the burn book, and I actually forgot that I owned this. I did a Jeffree Star ranking video recently. I couldn't see this from where I have it, and I forgot that I owned this, but this is from Storybook Cosmetics, which I do not think exists any longer. There was some controversy with the brand, I guess. I don't follow a lot of the beauty drama, so I don't know, but here she is. She's pretty. I like Mean Girls, and my favorite color is pink, so I'll keep this. I may never get around to using it, but it's kind of cute. And her palettes, like their palettes, are kind of a pain because of how bulky they are. They're supposed to look like books, which is cute, but yeah, I think that's it for the top. So we're going to move into this first drawer here. I'm going to move these two because that one palette we'll do in a separate. This drawer right here is supposed to be like my new, like, untouched drawer. There's some stuff, a couple things in here. Somehow this stuff doesn't want to fit in here any longer. I'm going to have to rearrange it later, but we will just jump in. I have more than this is stuff that's never been used that I want to, is what this drawer was intended to be, and I need to rearrange this drawer. But the first thing, this is a new palette. This came in recently. This is the Carnival All Stars. I've been looking at the Carnival palettes, and I like that this is small. The Carnival palettes are like god-awful, like gigantic palettes. So I like that this one's small. It's curated. You got a little bit of all the colors. So haven't used it yet. It is new. It takes like 3 weeks for me to get stuff from Beauty Bay, which is kind of ridiculous. These two are in here. These are from Own's Eye. These have actually been used. My eyeshadow palettes are a little bit out of control. I've had this palette from Tarte for a couple years. It's got really cool packaging. Never used it. I shuffle it around in my collection. It's so pretty and the packaging is cute. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. It used to have kind of a vanilla smell. That's kind of dissipated, but the packaging's cool. So there she is. I've got a bunch from Ace Beauté in here. That Flower Punk palette's been used, so that one doesn't need to be in this drawer anymore. But Classical Paradise. I got a lot of these on BoxyCharm on a deal. These are like the older formula, but I wanted this palette for years. So I'm excited that I finally have it. It's a really grungy, like fall color story. I've got Vintage Dawn. Another grungy color story. Scarlet Dusk. It's a pink palette. I like Ace Beauté's formula. Like, I know they've reformulated, but I had a couple of their palettes that I actually used. So that's why these have hung around. I ended up picking up the Oceanic on a deal. This is, again, the old formula. I have the Nostalgia. Woo, I'm losing the drawer here. The Nostalgia palette, which is super pretty. And then I ended up picking up, this was in a BoxyCharm. This is the Fall Into You. I got this on a deal. I didn't get it in my box, and I was able to pick that up for like $6. So I got that. I have this Mally palette that I got in a BoxyCharm. It's just a neutral. It kind of reminds me of the Lorac, little like smaller pro palettes. I have a Rare Beauty, one of the, it's an all shimmer palette. Came in a BoxyCharm. My friend sent me some Chanel makeup for Christmas, so I have this little quad that's very pretty. They're little like bake shadows. Wander Beauty, I have Sweet Escapes. This came in the BoxyCharm recently. And then I have another one, the Wondrous Escapes. I had a smaller 6-pan that I actually liked the formula. I ended up giving that to my mom. So when they came out with these larger ones, these were options to pick for your box. I jumped on them. And then I have a Profusion in Meadow that I've never used. I like the mauve one, so I picked up one more, and it's kind of an interesting color story. Just never. The drawer below that, I only have 3, which is nice. I got the Cinnamon Swirl after Christmas. Was it last year? Whenever this came out. Christmas before last. I got this on Poshmark, I think. It was brand new. It does still smell like cinnamon. It's a pretty, like, neutral palette. Haven't used it. And then I did pick up the Pumpkin Spice Second Slice palette. Mine's still in the box. I intended on doing a review. I can't get it open, but I do have it. I just never got around to filming. I had, difficult pregnancy and some health issues, so I just never got around to it. I have this Lime Crime palette. It has been used. My husband, my daughter likes to sit in here, and my husband will help her do makeup while I'm doing mine. He'll do blush and eyeshadow. So he's used this one on her, but I've never used it. So I have this Lime Crime little Polly Pocket one. I have the yellow one too, which I have used, but I just never used these ones. The third drawer and last drawer in that drawer, it's a craft cart. Pulled the drawer out, so let's see. I have a few in here that I have not used. I got this after Christmas. I have the Forbidden Fruitcake. So she looks like that. Does this smell like anything still? It's got kind of a fruit. I guess it does kind of have a nutty smell to it. And then I got Christmas Coffee on sale. I might have used 2 shades out of here. I can't remember. This still has some sort of a smell to it, but I have definitely not used the Fruitcake palette, but she's cute. I got this dancing green from Essence. My husband had me go into Ulta and pick some stuff out. I've used like the e.l.f. palettes, but I haven't tried these, and I've seen mixed reviews on these, so I picked up the green one just because I was curious. And then I have one of the Wet n Wild ones in that same vein, with the Color Icon palette. Lights Off. I like greens and dingy colors, so I went with the greens for both of those. I have this one from MAC. One of my best friends got this for me for Christmas when we were in beauty school. I've never used it. It's a couple of years old. It's pretty, but it's all like light shades, so I think that may be why I've never used it. I've never used MAC shadows, so... And because my friend bought it for me, anytime people give me stuff as gifts, I tend to hold on to them. It's hard for me to part with things. So I'll probably keep that until it goes bad. I have these two Profusion palettes that came in an advent calendar. They're like dupes for like the it looks like ABH palette kind of, and like the Naked Heat almost. So those have not been used yet. I like Profusion eyeshadow. I think I've used all of those Kaleidos palettes. I have a bunch of these Huda Beauty ones. I've used the green one. Ruby is brand new. Never been used. I started collecting these and then reached a point where I've used Topaz. I can't remember which ones I've used and which ones I haven't, so I'm going to open them and look. Amethyst is brand new. I started doing ColourPop comparison palettes on these, and I stopped that series, so that's probably why a bunch of these have never been used. I know I've used those ones. Smoky Obsession's been used. Sapphires, brand new. I have Nude Medium. It came in an advent calendar. Never gotten to. And then the last one that's unused would be the Pastels Rose palette. This one came in a BoxyCharm. It's pretty light too. Okay, and now we're going to get to what is on this craft cart. I used to have a system, and I can show you the drawer. I used to have a 2-drawer thing with like this also that just had palettes in it, and I had to condense when we put the crib back in our room. So we're going to do what's on the cart, and I'll kind of do the same thing like with the drawers, where I'll try and pause in between so it's not super boring. You're hopefully not watching me shuffle around a whole lot. I have the Shroud and it's now Batty Bean palette. So I've used Freaking Bats, but I got the Halloween one, and I just that was released for Halloween, her second collab, and I just have not used it. So there she is. She's pretty. Shroud came out with a new one. It's like a moonfall, moon spell, something. It looks pretty, but because I haven't used this one yet, I didn't get that one either. I have a Be Bella palette, Be Bella Cosmetics. I think it's under Beauty Creations. I could be mistaken about that. I have a Valentine palette from Be Bella that I really, really like, but I got both of these in like Tribe Beauty boxes. This one's really pretty. They do have, this one has one press glitter. I think the red one has one or two, but the red one's got a really good formula on it, so I've been curious about the pastels. Let's see, then we have Nabla Secret. I always want to call this a Secret Garden, I think, because of it's just a secret palette. I have the Side by Side nude palette that I have used, and then this was the other one that I want. I got this on Black Friday on Ulta's website, I think. Let's see, I have a palette from Adept. This is the Amunet Dark. The light version had a different shade. The difference between the light and the dark has this blue shade. The light shade has some other shade in it. I was curious about their shimmers, and this one had more mattes than some of the other palettes. So you've got 5 mattes, and then the like shifty shades. So Haven't gotten around to it, but that's my one adapt. I finally got a Blend Bunny palette. I ended up going with their smaller one just because it was a little bit cheaper. I haven't tried the brand. So I ended up getting the All Done Up. It's a grungy, neutrally palette. So I have that. I finally got Sigma's Enchanted. I think I got this on Black Friday too. I do have like a pro account because I am a cosmetologist, so I do get a discount anyway, but this was on sale for Black Friday, and I've been wanting the Enchanted palette for a couple of years, so I did pick that up. Haven't gotten to it. Sample Beauty, the Equalizer Volume 2. This was recommended a long time ago by Make Me Up Missa, and I think she's since decluttered hers. I've used one shade, I think, potentially, which no, I don't even think I did. I think I pulled it out thinking I was going to use a gold, and I never have. This hasn't been touched. This kind of reminds me of the Boss Mood palette from Morphe. It doesn't have as many greens in it, but I think that's why I kind of liked. It's a grungier color story. So this is, again, Sample Beauty. Let's see. Let's go up here. I have this Living My Best Life Lottie London. This was a collab palette, and it took me forever. Lottie London's a UK brand, and Make Me Up Miss is one of my favorite YouTubers, and she raved about this palette forever. Took me like 6 months to get a hold of this palette. Never used it. Finally got it. Never used it. I have used those. Let's see. I have this Valentine palette from Revolution. Their Dangerous Love. I bought this for the packaging. There's no other reason. I don't mind their palettes in these metal packages. They seem to be a little bit better quality, but I like Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan if you're new and you're not aware. So yeah, I totally bought that for the packaging. There's no other reason. And then my husband bought me this green one. I don't know what this is called. The Chilled. I think he got it because he liked it. It had like pot leaves on it, but it's pretty. I've swatched a couple colors, but I've never actually used this. And my husband bought it. I've kept every palette that he's bought me, whether I use them or not. Again, when people buy me makeup, it becomes sentimental. So there's a few ABH palettes in here I've never used. I've got to think, have I used this one? Yes, I've used the Norvina. I know I don't think I've used Soft Glam. I bought this when I went to my grandparents' house last year. They don't have sales tax and they live in Montana, so I tend to buy stuff when I go there. I got Sultry After Christmas. I think I got it on Poshmark. Somebody was getting rid of it, but that's not been used. I got these two from Makeup Geek. These were when this was before she was like rebranding, before it closed. So I have Champagne Rose and Peach Bellini. I got these on Poshmark. They're just smaller, like pre-made palettes. I've got a couple from Juvia's Place here. I think I've used all of these. Yeah, okay. So that's it for that. Point you down so you can see a little bit better. I have a bunch going towards the bottom. I got these on BoxyCharm on sale, and I've been wanting to try Pinky Rose, and it's one of those things where the brands kind of come and these are older palettes, so I don't think people care about this brand anymore. And they haven't really been coming out with anything, so I don't even know if the brand exists still. This is the Exotic Peacock. I got these for like $6 a piece. Again, these are older palettes that people talked about on YouTube a hot minute ago, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get them. Never used them. So I have the 80s Baby. You can tell by looking at them that they're definitely older because shimmers have changed drastically from these. It's just like Jeffree Star's palettes. His earlier palettes, and now like you can see kind of evolution. His tastes and things have changed, but I have the 80s Baby. I've kept the sleeves on these just because if I never end up using these, it's easier for me to give them away. I try and not swatch things and touch things unless I'm gonna absolutely use them. This is the Bright Lights. This one I can see not going over well with people because you have 3 pressed glitters. You have Cupcake, Dazzle, and Tickle, but I don't mind glitter. So glitters in palettes do not bother me because I have loose glitter. I have single like pressed glitters. Like, so glitter in palettes to me does not bother me. And this is Center Stage. This is the neutral one. And again, you've got Scandal and Infamy. I have come across pressed glitters in palettes that I don't like, and that's a bummer because then obviously I'm not using them, but I don't mind glitter. Some people don't, so that's an issue. I have 3 from Dominique Cosmetics. I had a mini that came in a BoxyCharm. They did like a mini version of this for BoxyCharm, and I loved it. So I decluttered that. I gave it away, and I was able to get this on Poshmark on a deal. So I have the full size. Haven't used it since I used the smaller one a few times and then got this, I think it was Celestial Thunder. So I got hunted down Celestial Storm. Never used it. I think I have used Berries and Cream. Yes. But I know I've never used Rustic Glam. And this was an add-on from BoxyCharm. She's pretty. Just never used it. Okay. Let's see. I have Naked palettes. I've used Honey and Cherry and Heat. Pretty sure I've used Naked Heat. Yeah. Let me take that back because I've had dupes for Naked Heat. I'm pretty sure I've used Naked Heat, but if not, it's bad when you can't tell. I've never used Wild West. I got this on sale when it came out. It's pretty. Never used it. Okay, so let me go through. Let's see. We have BH Cosmetics, Avocado Toast. Never used. I got it because it was green. I have Blueberry Muffin, and I can't remember. I think I used Blueberry Muffin once. I have this ColourPop Through My Eyes, the I Love Sarah He collab. I've never used this. Okay. I have this Lorella palette. This is the Sweetheart. This is a Valentine themed palette. I'm curious about this brand, so I've kept it around. I think this came in a Tribe box. It's pretty, and I like pinks, but just haven't gotten around to it. I've used that. Let's see. Pretty sure I've used my Beetlejuice palettes. Okay, I have a couple Lunar Beauty palettes I've never used. I got the Strawberry Dream on sale on Sephora a long time ago, and mine came a little banged up. I had to repress these two. The shimmers are very soft. I probably could have gotten a brand new palette, but I've never actually used it. I did repress those two down there, but never used it. And then I got Nude Prism in a BoxyCharm. So haven't gotten to her, but that's very pretty. And I think that's it. There's not as many on the very bottom, so I did pull them out, thankfully. I got this Kylie one on sale. This is the Nightmare on Elm Street. This was her Halloween collection, not this past October, the one before. I've never used a Kylie palette, so I picked this one up. I love horror movies, but it's funny to me, like, you could tell this could totally be a Christmas palette if you changed the packaging, which is funny. It's a neutral palette with some reds, because if you get rid of this quad right here, it's very brown, but I haven't gotten around to it. Again, I like horror movies, so that seemed like a good one for me to try. I have the second Hocus Pocus palette. Oh, I did use this. I used this once when I was ranking my ColourPop palettes, so that's good. Because I hadn't used it. Did I use this one? Remember, I guess I must have. Okay, so I did use both of these once, which I don't even remember when I was trying to rank my ColourPop palette. So those did get used. Okay, so scratch that. But I do have this Peachy Queen. This was sent to me by a subscriber. It's the Wizard of Oz. I've been curious about this brand too. And again, you've got 4 press glitters. Their shimmers seem just like more satiny, but I like the color story. And again, this is a indie brand that I've been kind of curious about, so I've kept it around. I have the ABH, the Norvina. This is the volume 1. I got this with a gift certificate from my mother-in-law, and I've just never used it. I have 1, 3, and 4, and I've used 3 and 4. I just, for some, I don't wear a lot of purple. I think I was more drawn to like this bottom section with like the mustards and the blues, but I've been getting into purples more recently, so hopefully at some point I can use this. I like the other 2 that I have. And then the last one is going to be this little Makeup Revolution. I got this on sale, like super discounted, for like $6. It's a neutral palette. I saw somebody do a really pretty look with this, with a palette with the same color story. So I think that's why I was interested in getting it. And it's Batman, so I got it for no other reason other than it was on sale. Was all of my palettes. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought, but I did go through and do a declutter. So I did give away a few new palettes that I hadn't used that I just thought, you know, I'm never going to get to these. So I just let them go. So I would have had more than what was here, but I did do like a declutter and then another one. So, yeah, because I'm trying to get better about using what I have and not buying everything that comes out. Like I said, it's hard with limited edition because you feel the need to get it because it's eventually not going to be available. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I can get it later. And brands do that on purpose so that they will sell, because if people know they can get them anytime, there's less of that impulse buy. So, I mean, I get why brands do it. It's just annoying for the consumer, because then you end up with the situation with me where you have way too much and then you have stuff that's never been used because then something else comes out and it turns into a whole thing. This is a prime example, the Hella palette. I had this for a year. I finally used it closer to Christmas, and I love this palette. I've used it a bunch since I've started using it, but yeah, this is a prime example. I picked it up because it was limited edition. Now they did do restocks of this, but like now you can't get this, so it did reach a point where it was gone. But yeah, this sat in my drawer for almost a year before I finally got to it. I brought it out once I got the Merry Christmas palette, so it's one of those things. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Hopefully this isn't too boring. Like I said, I tried to film it in a way that wouldn't be like horrible to watch, so you'll have to let me know. But yeah, if there's any palettes that are new that you saw that you would like to see looks on, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Again, thank you so much for being here. I hope everyone is doing well. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and hopefully I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye, everybody.